Open Cup Magic coming up tomorrow night out in Chester. Dave, appreciate you coming on. Give me a couple minutes. I know it's obviously a busy time. Everybody in the midst of three in a week. If you're one of the eight teams remaining in the Open Cup, that'll get cut in half tonight as we record on Tuesday. I want to start with this. I was thinking about the best way to get this conversation up and going with you, and knowing him and have him seen coached here when he was with Red Bull as an assistant and as the acting, and this is not meant disrespectfully to Jim Curtin, who did a magnificent job with the Union when he was there. Is it possible to still say, even with the success that Curtin had, that Bradley Cardinal has been a breath of fresh air?
He has been tremendous, and everybody has gelled top down with this new staff from Bradley, from the assistant coaches that have come in, Mitch Hildebrand, Sean Rooney, and others, and some of the new faces that we have, like a Jovan Lukic comes in as a number six, and some others. Jan Glavinovic is hurt, but is not seen a lot of playing time, since he got hurt earlier with the torn meniscus. But a lot of these new guys, like Bruno Damiani, for example, coming in as a number nine for us, that stems from the belief from the coaching staff and down to the players. And everybody, I think still loves Jim and misses that iteration of the Union, which is, as you know, and a lot of the Red Bulls fans know, was a long time in the Philly area. But I think there's the belief when this new staff came in, Matt, that all the pundits picked us to be outside the playoff line, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I thought as a commentator for the team that in one respect I see, okay, it's a new staff, whatever, and people are down from what went on in the 2024 Union season. But I said to myself, and I look at things very objectively in all the broadcasting that I do, so you got to give them a chance and let's see how they do in the first couple months of the season with the new staff. And they hit the ground running. They started out 3-0. Then we lost our first game to Nashville at home, who just beat us last game at their place on a penalty in the 101st minute. But outside of those two results and a few others, the Union have really impressed everybody. And I think that leads to the question that you posed. It's thanks to that breath of fresh air from Bradley Cardinal and this coaching staff.
All right, the elephant in the room, Dave, from a Red Bull perspective, it's a Union team that certainly considers this a rivalry game, but it's been one-sided as of late. Everyone has talked about that leading into this little schedule quirk that has New York and Philadelphia playing twice in the span of the next couple of days. Tell me from a perspective of the Union side of that, how maybe they're either A, trying to downplay it, or B, trying to play into it to stay inside or potentially stay inside Red Bull head.
I looked at the series history between us, and no doubt the Union are on this unbeaten streak right now against the Red Bulls, and I think there's a lot of respect from what I gather, listening to the press conference on Tuesday with Bradley Cardinal to the local media, the respect that he has first and foremost for the organization that he coached at, as you said, and then second off the talent. All the way down that you guys have, and what Sandra Schwartz has led there. I think just from a Philly commentator watching the Red Bulls from afar, I've been very impressed of what you guys have been able to do, and I think the respect first and foremost is there, and then I look at the chess match tactically. The two, the high pressing systems, albeit different when it comes to the matchups and the scouts of opponents and how the press is utilized and when to go, when to counter press, and where to do that on the field. But that first and foremost stands out. I think your goal scoring pedigree is something that we need to watch out for. What you guys provide from your number nine positions and the attacking positions. I think from the Union standpoint, what folks should take away is that we went on this unbeaten streak of 11 across all 11 in league games, 13 across all competitions. And that was stymied against Columbus and then stopped again. Continuing with that Nashville, it's the first time we're on a two-match losing skid right now, and it shows how successful the Union have been. We slid right now from first to third. My take going into the quarterfinal matchup against the Red Bulls is that both teams want this. Both teams, chance to get another trophy for CONCACAF Champions Cup. I look at it from the Union standpoint that since my longtime association with the Union, from the Jim days and now to Bradley, they're going after this. There will be some rotation because of injury, guys coming off of international duty with the Gold Cup and what have you, and also getting ready for the game on Saturday against you guys again in a double, if you will. So I'm really excited for the matchup because I think back to, Jesse Marsh throwing the ball at the Union bench. What was that? Maybe that was before COVID. I used to do a bunch of Open Cup games against you guys when we did our local streams. Um, Ilsinho had a good game against you guys, a hat trick. I know we have the playoff history as well. So these matchups are always feisty, physical, and I would say when I look at lastly, what I'll say about the matchup is that I feel like very few chances each team gets because it's just that intensity where both teams are playing, I think, compact between the lines, not too stretched, and there might be those one or two moments where Red Bulls might get on Wednesday night and the Union, and we'll see who plays for both sides. So I think it's going to come down to those one or two moments. That's probably simply stated, but I get the feeling that that's what we're going to see. I don't think it's going to be Red Bulls with 20 shots with 8 on target, the Union with 15. So I think there's going to be a few instances to cash in for either side.
Hurting my heart, Dave, bringing up all these awful memories between Open Cup playoffs and the regular season. Finish with this one, if you can. You look at what the Union have done, and you mentioned the last couple of games have not gone their way, but got off to such a great start. And I feel like this has been a tough place in this stretch for Red Bull to go down to Chester and play. And overall this season, home field has been big yet again for the Union.
And that was not the case going back even to last year. And I think the Achilles heel, for us going back to the 2024 season is that, we gave up so many leads early in games, first and second minute, late in games. We were kind of what's happened this year a couple of times where we're up a man and we can't finish the job. To your point, we've looked much stronger at home. The only defeat was that Nashville game at home way back in March. So I would say that one of the things that this Union team in 2025 has done has been much stronger defensively. And I have to give credit. We'll see who starts, but Andrew Rick has looked really good in the absence of Andre Blake. Blake is back from the Gold Cup with Jamaica and has played the last 2 games. So we'll see if it's Rick or if it's Blake in this quarterfinal matchup. I would say Jacob Klesnes has been a stalwart. He is an all-star this year for the 3rd time. So he's looked good next to a young center back, Owetu Makanya, Kai Wagner on the left. So what I'm getting at is defensively, we've been much stronger at home this year as compared to years past. Even going back to 23 and obviously the 22 year, we set all those records going to MLS Cup, even back to 21 in the Eastern Conference Final as well. So I think at what Red Bull fans should know about the Union is number one, we've been very strong at home. Number two, I would say, is what a lot of Union fans want to see more. And I think us being at home, and we haven't been at home for a little bit, we're coming off of a 3-game road swing where we went 1-2. The one win against Chicago, we had a 10th minute penalty by Bruno Damiani in the back-to-back losses again, as we said earlier, to Columbus and Nashville. And again, we fell asleep on one moment in the Columbus game to Mo Farsi, and then at the end, unfortunately, a foul in the box, and Hani Mukhtar had a penalty in the 101st minute. We did have a few chances. We had more of the chances in the second half, and I think a lot of Union fans want to see more of that chance creation in what I call the green zone area outside of the box for us, like 20, 25 yards into your goal on Wednesday night. And I think if that can happen more so in the beginning part of the game, and as I mentioned, I think there will only be a few opportunities for both sides to maybe get that moment to score. But I hope for you guys. I hope you have a lot of, because I love you. I hope you have a lot of great calls on your broadcast with Jolly. And, from my Union hat, I hope the Union have opportunities to get to a semifinal as well. We have a lot of history going deep to the Open Cup. I've never won it, been to a final 3 times. And I know this group is going after it. I know other teams, I know it's easy to say it's a quarterfinal. Everybody's going after it. But I think kind of like you guys and us, we really take the competition seriously with a lot of history in our domestic game. And I'm hoping for a great atmosphere down there. Hopefully, a lot of Red Bull supporters are coming down to cheer on their squad, and I know Union supporters will be ready to go as well for this rivalry matchup.
Dave, appreciate your time here going into the Open Cup on Wednesday. If you're okay with it, we'll do this again in a couple of days and preview the regular season game on Saturday.
I like that we're back to back. We're fortunate that it's at our place for both, but really looking forward to both of the matchups. Can't wait to do it again.